This is Kenobi, man. We did it. This is literally the day it came out. We're recording this episode.
We stayed up all night and we watched it at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Literally at 2 o'clock on the dot, Disney was prompt with their upload. It was very nice. So I just I loved it.
Yeah. Okay, so it dropped at 2:01. We listened, watched, gave it 100% attention, and you picked me up 5 hours later.
Yeah.
We're in the studio right now. This episode is coming out the day that you hear this. This is the first time we ever do this in DSR history.
And it is also, so pretty much as the Obiwan Kenobi episode 6, spoiler alert.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which we haven't done that in a very long time. So homage to season 1.
And also, if it's a spoiler alert, then you didn't watch any of the prequels or the...
Well, only for episode 6. Only for part 6.
Yeah.
But we're going to recap
you know
the
what's
whole
going to
thing.
happen.
Yeah.
Episode 4 came out in 76, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, we decided that we needed a day of review.
So, start part 1. Part 1, I was automatically hooked in.
Yeah.
Everything about what Disney and Jon Favreau is doing with anything Star Wars right now is epic as far as cinematography. My only complaint, as always, is that I just find that acting in some of these shows is just not up to par.
I think it's mostly the scripts.
Or do they make it cheesy because it was cheesy back then?
It's got a built-in quality of cheese, yeah.
You know, but some of them I just think are bad actors and actresses. But it doesn't spoil it for me. There's nothing about any of it that spoils it for me.
No, let's get this out of the way right now. Yes, there were some hiccups in Kenobi throughout, but that did not in any way
kill it for you.
Put those hiccups in the shadow, man. Nothing is going to be perfect. Nothing's going to live up to your expectations of Star Wars because what you think is not what everyone else thinks.
Right.
And everyone should have their opinion about it and think a certain way, but once you let that invade what's actually happening in the series, that's a problem. You know, like all the hate that Reva was getting.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just take it for what it is.
Right.
And accept that this is what happened. You could want something, but that's not what happened.
Right.
Be happy you're watching new Star Wars. And that's the anthem of what we've been saying this whole time.
Absolutely.
We're getting to see new Star Wars.
Right.
And not only are we getting to see new Star Wars, but we're getting to see the gap between episode 3
and in such an awesome way
and 4.
Right.
How long have you waited your entire life to see this?
It's absolutely amazing. And for people, I think today that it's filling in gaps for old Star Wars fans, but it's also bridging a new path for people who are now into Mandalorian or Boba Fett, things of that nature, just because it's new and it's better. So they may be able to go back and watch episode 1 through 6 with no problem now because they have a path and a storyline. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in today. People need to see that. But
I struggled a bit with the series of figuring out, is this necessary?
Absolutely.
And
it's absolutely necessary.
It took me to episode 3 to say, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's any Star Wars, though. And none of them start hot.
Right. Except for Rogue One.
Rogue One starts real hot.
Yeah.
So that's, they all start slow. And I was expecting it with Kenobi because of the timeline was supposed to start slow. And you got to ease back into this piece of the Star Wars history too. So I wasn't expecting this crazy battle up front, or seeing Qui-Gon right away.
Right off the gate, I figured he was going to be in hiding to start with. So
we're going to see
how exciting is your life if you're trying to hide, right? He's trying to stay low key
for 10 years.
Yeah,
he's in the thick of it,
right? So that was a major part of that being a little slow, is because they were just trying to show like what his struggle was of,
They had to drop you back in the universe, and I appreciate that. But that was my biggest gripe up front was, is there a purpose for this show other than a fan service? And it did take till episode 3 for me to answer that.
Yeah.
But yeah, episode 1, we just really drop into Tatooine, and Obi-Wan is just slaving away, really.
Yeah. Nobody knows that he's a Jedi. He's just kind of doing his thing, a working man, blue collar.
The unsung hero of the series is the clock in, clock out gonk droid.
Right. Yeah. No doubt, huh?
Whenever I seen that the first time, I was like, oh, that's what they're for. They're to clock in and clock out. Duh. Yeah. Gonk.
And screw you.
Gonk. Hey, man, I'm missing half my pay here. Gonk.
Yeah, sorry about your luck.
Who are you going to talk to about it? But yeah, dropping in, seeing how Obi-Wan went into hermit status and why was so awesome.
Yeah.
So episode 1, we establish where we are in the universe. Then episode 2, we really understand baby Leia.
So the kid that played young Leia,
crazy,
amazing, bro. Like,
I loved it.
The maturity in the acting of that kid.
I was convinced.
I was too, all the way through, all the way to the end.
Yeah.
I will jump forward into 6 real quick, part 6. At the end, when he kneels down and he looks her in the eye and he says, "May the Force be with you," that was his way of saying, "I love you."
Yeah, absolutely.
But they don't.
He was telling,
He
was telling Anakin, and he was telling Padme he loved him.
Right. Which was...
That was moving.
That was some... Yeah, I teared up for that. That was pretty amazing.
Or whenever they're on the freighter.
Ewan McGregor has to be one of the best actors in the world.
He's awesome.
Whenever he finds out from the girl that becomes the Grand Inquisitor...
Reva.
that Anakin's alive, right?
His face,
the fear was real, right? I felt his fear. I was like, I wouldn't want to be messing with this dude either. This is this is some deep stuff here.
He taps into something. Ewan McGregor taps into some real fear.
Do you think part of it is he's reliving all the days of having to work with Hayden Christiansin?
There's no way he's one of the best actors to walk the face of the planet. So that can't be the case.
Life as a house goes on.
Always.
I'm glad it was minimal of him in this. That was great.
Honestly, man, what we got of Hayden
was good.
I was happy with.
Yeah. And maybe it's just because he was young back then and his acting skills wasn't there, but he was a lot better Anakin in this than he was before.
I do have to say I'm struggling very much at the moment not talking about part 6. Like,
let's talk about it.
Dude,
so pretty much well, let's just do this.
Let's catch up.
Between then and 6, pretty much Vader and Obi-Wan come in contact quite a few times. Also,
which is surprisingly
Leia
awesome.
gets abducted.
Yeah.
Okay. And Vader does not know that Leia is his child.
No.
Right? He also doesn't know that Luke is alive. The fact that they had Luke so young and Leia had such a big role in it, but they left Luke kind of in the background, that said a lot to me. That was awesome. I like that aspect of it because it left the mystery of when for him to grow up and then when he became a man and was ready to go out.
I was not expecting that angle. I was expecting Obi-Wan to leave Tatooine for something.
Right.
And I think we called that like on a Boba Fett episode.
Right.
So him leaving Tatooine had to have so much importance.
Right.
Obviously, it's got to be Leia. What else would have that much importance? So it was awesome to see and get that nice little twist there. And you could see so early on that she's Force sensitive.
Yeah.
One. And two, like you said, the actress that played her reminded me of her parents.
Yeah.
Which was so cool.
Absolutely.
It was awesome. She deserves to go on and do some really amazing things.
And get paid a bunch of money.
Yeah.
I hope that little girl is rich as hell right now.
What if she grows up in the Star Wars universe as we keep going on in time, in our normal Earth time, that we get to see her be teenage Leia?
That'd be great. Watching Leia grow up.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. And I think she would kill it.
She would.
With the battles between Vader and Obi-Wan were epic.
Yeah.
Okay. Real fear. What I loved about the aspect ratio of the way they filmed this, Alex Bazeron and I were talking at my kid's graduation a few weeks ago, and he met the guy that was Vader in the suit, and he took a picture with him. This guy's massive. To show how big, because he was more, he's all machine at that point. He was so massive, and so powerful. He was scary.
They portray that really well.
Yeah.
Like menacing.
Right.
7-something foot robot man, all clad, black clad, ready to murder.
Fighting a lightsaber battle one-handed.
Yeah.
And just owning it.
And using the Force in the other hand. Like, I do like seeing how dynamic Anakin was when he was doing his saber battles, because we got to see like 30 minutes of it in
which was
episode
awesome.
3.
Yeah.
But him transitioning into Vader, he's still kind of learning his body.
Right.
So he's stiff. He's just super strong.
Yeah.
And you could see Anakin's fighting style a bit in Vader's suit. Like,
right.
I thought that was awesome how they portrayed that and how strong Anakin is with the Force.
Right.
Because he just shreds Obi-Wan in that first battle.
Yeah, like it's nothing.
And the parallel of dragging him through the fire.
Bro, that was insane.
I really think Vader made a conscious decision at that point to not kill Obi-Wan because he's not done with him.
Yeah.
Emotionally, and just he's still Anakin.
Which was said by Palpatine at the very end of 6. That was the last thing he told Vader.
Which was great to see him reprise his role, right?
That was cool as hell, man. The other part I like too is when they pan out in that final scene with Vader.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there and it pans out and the windows behind him and the throne he sits on is his helmet.
Yes.
That was
such a cool touch.
With the red eyes. That was amazing. That went so hard. I was like, this is awesome how they thought of everything.
And that's the first time we see Vader's castle.
Right.
In movie canon.
Besides being on the an illustrated cover of one of the comics.
So amazing. So whenever we get to see Vader we always kind of associate Darth Vader as his own character, and we associate Anakin as his own character.
Right.
What this series has done for me personally
has made them one.
Is made them the same person. Same thing with Obi-Wan and Ben.
Same.
It was by far the best storytelling in new Star Wars series.
I agree. I do agree with that.
Over Boba Fett for sure, and over Mandalorian for me. Yeah. But I was that much more invested going in.
But the thing is, before you even knew who Boba Fett or Jango Fett was, or any of the clone stuff, you were a fan of Ben Kenobi from Jump Street. There's not a whole lot of people in the Star Wars universe you and I disagree on Qui-Gon.
I love Qui-Gon.
The minute when you said a while back on the show, you said there's going to be some Force Ghosts soon. The minute they showed Qui-Gon's Force Ghost, I was like, oh, Tyler just busted one. He just lost his nut on himself, and it's done.
I wasn't the happiest of how they presented his ghost.
I found it was kind of weird the way he turned around. He was like,
he happens.
What took you so long? Like he was the dude from
the dude
when his kid got stolen or whatever. You know,
he looks
abducted
like
or whatever movie he was in, kidnapped or whatever.
He looks like the dude.
Yeah,
but yeah, it just so happens upon him was kind of strange.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it.
It's like, did y'all run? Yeah, were y'all tired when you made this last scene?
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's like, man, I've been like going through that. Oh, hey, you're there. Sweet.
But I could see why it went that way too,
Yeah.
because if you were Obi-Wan and you were riding into this valley to go find your new duck-out spot, you're not expecting to see Qui-Gon, and that's whenever you have to close your eyes to see.
Right.
And that's where he got, and he finally overcame feeling the guilt of doing that to Anakin, because he verbatim says he did it to himself.
Right.
You did not do this to me, Obi-Wan. I killed Anakin.
Right.
Dude.
That was sick, bro.
I can't.
I'm telling you, I was so gripped.
I absolutely shedded a few tears during that scene of dialogue, because we never see Anakin in the Vader suit and have like both sides and get dialogue.
That was so killer. The way they depicted that.
Yes.
And Obi-Wan kicked his ass, bro.
Yeah.
And when Vader was filling the hole with all the rocks, and you think Obi-Wan's just crushed under it, you know?
Yeah.
And the way he used the Force and then came out and kicked his ass like that, I was so like I was pumped. My heart was pumping fast. But one thing that the thing that got me the most, I think, and it's just because of my love for 4, 5, and 6 so much over anything else, right?
Absolutely.
At the very end, when Obi-Wan was leaving, and Luke's uncle says, Obi-Wan's walking away and he's about to leave forever, and he says, would you like to meet him? That was such a pivotal moment, because little does Luke know, as a little kid tinkering with some droid,
right,
that he is meeting one of the world's greatest Jedis, or the universe's greatest Jedis. And
we'll never know him for that.
And we'll later on meet him again, not really knowing what he knows, right?
It was such a heavy moment. And and the fact that he's like, hello there.
And that was it.
That was the biggest fan service ever.
And Luke didn't say a word. And that was great.
I think Luke literally had like 3 lines of dialogue in the whole thing,
which was awesome.
Yeah,
I love that they did that, because then it opened up, like, you know, he just lived out his life, and then when he became of age, that's when he started to, you know,
I think they
have that longing to go.
They had a motive to make Leia much more significant than what the first trilogy implied,
right?
And that meant a lot to me. You know, like, because they are twins, and they're both extremely powerful when it comes to the Force.
Yeah, them midichlorians are going hard, dog.
Right. So
they juicing that.
The fact that they did that deliberately, and how they portrayed her character, was amazing to me. And I really feel like, you know, like, okay, the sequel trilogy tried to do something like that with Leia as well. They just kind of missed the mark on all of them, pretty much, in my opinion.
Yeah. Big deal. She's an old general now.
Right.
Which I'm not hating on her, because I still love her.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, they could have done better. But also, that was a whole nother thing, right?
Yeah. I'm looking at the sequel trilogy as, like, a different universe of Star Wars.
Well, we also can look forward to possibly, I mean, Jon Favreau is such a fan of Star Wars himself, so he's doing a good job. And on top of that, I think he has the good sense to move that forward, because the way he had, there's lines in his episodes that make you believe that there will be more episodic things. Like when Vader was sitting on the throne and he says, pretty much, I'll tear apart the galaxy until I find him. So there's going to be a lot of battles. There's a lot of things that go on in between that time from when Obi-Wan is still a young man, because that line that he says to Leia, and she says, will I ever see you again?
Yeah.
And he says, maybe one day when I'm an old man, you might need me.
Right.
That was awesome, man. That gave me chills up and down my spine. But it's things like that to where I just feel like you're right. I think it's going to open up a whole nother thing, and I hope they do. I hope we're right again, because we're right a lot about these things. Often. Yeah.
I could see potential for a season 2, like you said, go into those stories of maybe not, movie canon characters, and Vader having these, it's destroying the galaxy looking for Obi-Wan, and the last place he's going is Tatooine.
Right.
Why would he ever go? He hates sand. Even as a machine, especially as a machine, he hates sand.
Right.
Why would he go there? So again, I really feel like they took this series and it started as a passion project, and then they realized how heavy it would become, and they just followed through the whole way.
Because no matter what, old Star Wars fans are going to watch.
Yeah.
And then you got new Star Wars fans because it looks good and it has CGI and all that good stuff.
And I definitely wanted to make that point too, where it's a series that you could drop in on and get hooked up with Star Wars to go check out more.
Yeah.
And I know that's why it started slow.
Think about when it's all said and done, because they have that series Andor coming out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So once all of that is done and you're able to go back to episode 1 and then watch all of this in order, how awesome is that going to be? Because then you can really see the timeline of what's going on opposite ends of the universe.
Right. And I really do hope they explore way earlier, like High Republic stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Some of that, follow Palpatine if you need a main character.
Oh, Palpatine would be great.
He would be awesome.
Man, you talking about Game of Thrones in space?
Yeah, basically.
That's pretty much it.
Basically.
That's pretty much it.
And his story of how he got so powerful is one that needs to be told in movie canon. It is so good.
And what would be cool with that, too, is because you could put so many other characters in that. Mace Windu.
Yeah.
At that timeline, because they were all entwined with each other because of the Senate and the Jedi Council, but there were so many questions among them because they couldn't exactly see through the veil of the dark side.
I do want to see the baby, though. I would like to see the baby. The Grogu would have been like 5 years old.
Yeah, at that point.
So like this big.
So did he get murdered?
What you mean?
You think Grogu's eventually going to get murdered?
No.
Why not?
Well, he obviously makes it past episode 6.
Well, I feel you, but like, what happens then?
After?
You know? Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Because what if he was in? I'm just saying. Think about this. At this time, okay, so Luke took Grogu to go train, and he had Padawans.
Uh-huh.
And then the reason why he stopped doing that
is because Kylo Ren.
Is because Kylo Ren murdered all the Padawans.
I think Grogu's off like what Yoda did in Dagobah. Like he knows the way.
But he was just like, I'm gonna go chill in the swamp, eat some frogs, some fish eggs.
He knows the way and he knows the Force. So like, there is so much potential with his character.
Yeah.
And he's still in Yoda years, like his species years, so young.
Oh, that's right. So at that point,
he
left and went with the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he never returns to Luke for any more Jedi training.
He might. I don't know.
Yeah.
He might. You never know. It's one of those things is that...
You know though, cancel culture will go ham if they kill some Grogu, bro.
Oh, they're not that dumb. I really don't think Disney's that stupid to kill off their merchandise, baby.
I would do it real quick. And then I'd make a new one. I'd make a cuter one.
That's why you're not John
Favreau.
Favreau.
It looks like a Hufflepuff or something. or one of those Jigglypuffs.
But Grogu is alive in this series, just somewhere in the universe, and he would have been in the Jedi Temple. So I feel like we're going to get some story of, while that happened, who went save him before Order 66.
Who scooped him up.
Or who actually kicked the stormtroopers' asses to get him safe.
Right.
There's a whole thing there that we could watch for sure.
Yeah.
There's potential.
And so many defectors and all kind of other things that go into that.
Now, Luke and Leia in this series are the same age as Anakin in Episode 1.
Right.
There's a lot of parallels to each one of the episodes of Obi-Wan that are to the episodes of the movie.
Well, a lot of that's because when they get to a certain age, the Force is normally more pronounced in them, so they're able to sense it better. The older Jedi that are already seasoned, they're able to see that in them, and they can. That's why he took that test from Anakin when Qui-Gon took that test from Anakin when he was just a boy, because he was at that age to where it could finally be detected.
And do you remember whenever Star Wars fans, quote unquote, were so mad at the midi-chlorian thing?
Yeah.
Like they gave the Force a tangible type number that would be in someone.
Right.
Now it's,
now it's just part of it.
That's just part of it.
Because you could bitch about it, but you're not going to change it.
It's not going to change
So you might as well just, Well, it's like we've talked about it many times. A lot of the newer Star Wars stuff, we didn't like certain things about it, but at the end of the day, we still loved it. So and it didn't change anything about it. It's still, every time I watch it, it's still in there.
I could still have my preferences.
Changes.
You know,
just like when I watch Jumanji and I see the cameraman that's in the tree. It's like multi-million-dollar thing you put together, and you couldn't take the cameraman out of the tree.
No rotoscoping
Sad.
in there. This I really think that what's happening with Disney's Darth Vader depiction, they have never dropped the ball yet.
Well, I feel like also with old Star Wars fans, you had some that were Vader fans, right?
Yeah.
But mostly not. Most of them were either Luke fans.
Back then, it was not cool to like the bad guy.
Right.
You know.
Girls loved Leia. Yeah. Most guys, Han Solo fans.
They were the chick magnet,
Boba Fett,
the badass.
You know, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. Not so much Vader. Now you have Vader fans. You have fans of Vader. You have fans of Anakin. And I love the rebirth of Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Because, man, it's been a long time coming, but it was worth the wait.
It was.
Definitely worth the wait.
I think that's a huge part of this, because in the culture we live in now, we're used to binge watching, seeing all of something and being done with it. There's a thing that happens in your brain when you have to wait and anticipate things. So imagine having to anticipate Star Wars.
Yeah. As a grown-ass man.
How long was it between the trilogy and the prequels? It's like 15 years.
Too long.
20 years, something like that.
And we watched that crap over and over again just because that was new and what we had.
Yeah, and I was grateful for it.
Yeah.
So the fact that we get to grow up with, as people, with this story and these characters, I'm just that much more invested. And I think a lot of people don't get that opportunity anymore. Unless they start early on and they just... Nothing continues this long.
Right.
Ever. Like the biggest space soap opera ever. Besides wrestling. Wrestling does this.
And on top of that, it's amazing because the spoof Spaceballs
also awesome.
is still, till this day, a cult following.
Yeah.
You know, like there's so many people that still
well deserved.
Young kids. I work with kids that know that movie so well, and it amazes me, 19, 20 years old, that actually know this movie.
Yeah.
That would have never happened if it wouldn't have been for Star Wars.
Star Wars being baked into our culture could have went very wrong or very right. And we're very lucky with the people who were able to push it forward. And, you know, we preach this on the show. It's like, man, what they're doing with these new series is captivating. 1, it's making them a bunch of money. 2, and 3, we're along for the ride, and I'm not pushing it. Like, I would expect with our personalities that we wouldn't be into something that's this much fandom, right? But we grew up with it.
Yeah, we love it.
And
thank you, Jon Favreau, and thank you, Sweatshop Disney.
Absolutely.
I'm not mad at you.
Yeah,
I'm mad at you, but I'm not mad at you.
It's true. Think of like how Disney has pushed Vader's story forward. Rogue One.
Yeah.
They depicted him as this ultra badass.
And he was.
For like, what, 30 seconds?
Yeah, that's fine, though.
And that was good.
That was enough.
Then we get the Kenobi series, where we get to see Vader actually be menacing.
Yeah.
And I finally got the impact of how terrifying this man is.
Right.
I guess because it was the arc of his story and where we're able to see Anakin be Vader and then just Vader killing Anakin.
Right.
So everything that they've done with Vader so far has been absolutely amazing. I can't appreciate that more. And Disney, I'm looking at you. I never really was a giant fan of Disney.
Hell no.
You know, that was never my thing. There were things that I did like, of course.
Well, I will say this. This has made me want to go watch other Jon Favreau stuff. So I watched the movie Chef. If you want to be inspired, go watch that movie. And then on Netflix, he has the Chef Show. It is amazing. Like, you watch the editing and the cuts on this thing. So, and also anything Marvel is pretty much him. He did Spider-Man. He did Avengers. I mean, you know, just got his hand in every pot. So, it's cool. I'm glad I stayed up till 2:00 in the morning to watch that.
Yeah,
it was worth it.
I think the final battle between Obi-Wan and Vader, we knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But the way that they did that is some of the best I've seen.
When he screams out
ever.
When Obi-Wan's leaving.
It was amazing.
He screams out his name.
Yeah.
It's amazing how you can hear how they layer it to where it's his voice and it's the machine.
James Earl Jones.
Right?
Yep.
And when you hear it, you can hear the boy, Anakin again. Not, you know what I'm saying? It was just crazy how they did that. The sound production was amazing.
It depends on how good your manners are, how big your pocketbook is. That's what they told Reva.
Yeah.
So the third sister. Everyone had an issue with this chick.
I do too.
Everyone.
You know why? Could have just got a better actress. I'm just saying.
I think she played her part well, personally, because...
Well, you also said this about...
I did.
Oh, Anakin. You said he was supposed to be a bad actor. That was part of the dark side.
Yeah, so. It comes with the territory. I think that her character was supposed to be that way. If she would have been... What would you... Okay, so if you could say that she was bad acting, what would that entail good acting? Like, what would that look like?
That kid that played Leia.
Right, but she's not Leia. Her character's not supposed to be that way.
No, her character is a Jedi hunter, okay, who's supposed to be filled with rage, and I just didn't see that. Like, where she pretended to be mad, she wasn't.
But she was kind of shitty. Like, she kind of sucked. She was supposed to kind of suck.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right.
Like, her as a character, let's walk through, saw Anakin kill all the Padawans, left...
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Killed her teacher, left her to freaking die to all this...
You think Anakin walked in and said, "Teacher, leave them kids alone"?
No, what I think Anakin thought was, there's not enough black people in Star Wars, so I'm going to let her live.
It's not about her being black. Because I think she's kind of hot.
No, she's great.
You know what I'm saying?
I killed the one. I need to make sure.
You're right, though. She had some badass moments, and then, like, when she cut through the door, and then it opened, and he just took the force, and he was just like, boom, and he pushed her away. I'm like, oh, she's horrible.
Dude, when she...
What a crap Jedi. No wonder why you went to the dark side.
Did she think she was going to sneak Vader? Like, while he's just facing the other way?
Like, he's not going to read her mind.
Right.
And her thoughts and her fear and all that, you know?
Then a lot of people had an issue with why she just didn't take the saber to the door in the first place.
Who was the guy with the lightsabers on his chest that spun?
Oh, the Grand Inquisitor?
Yeah.
The first one?
Yeah.
The first brother?
Yeah, so what was with that? Like, stand there and let me get close enough to you to whirlwind you with these. So you feel me?
These people
are insane.
Are not super good
smart
with the Force.
See, that's the thing about Obi-Wan. He's very smart.
Yeah. Not everyone's conniving and quick.
Yeah, he outsmarted Vader on every front.
And the flashbacks with him doing those little battles to see if he's ready for the test, that was amazing. They did a really cool job with that. They could have probably helped out Hayden's face,
yeah,
but it's fine.
It's very punchable.
It's whatever.
But
yeah,
go ahead.
Reva was supposed to be shitty. And I guess I just accepted that early on, and I didn't see the
mission accomplished.
Yeah. She did a good job of sucking and getting people to not like her.
I hope you get paid for that, baby girl.
She did.
A lot of money.
She did. I don't know if she's going to keep doing it, but, well, we know she's not going to keep doing it.
You think I should write Jon Favreau a letter and ask him to make a Charit Imwe miniseries?
They would never do it.
Why?
Unless it was like porn.
Disney porn?
What? You never know, man.
Welcome back to another edition of The Little Spermaid.
You signed big doo-doo this time.
On my chest. Right between the clamshells.
Oh, boy. Well,
yeah, that's back to season 1.
That already exists. It's just not funded by Disney.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I try to stay away from those genres.
So how Obi-Wan gradually gets more in tune with the Force throughout the series is a really good arc for him, but it was a little wonky that he went from literally a day ago getting blasted by Vader.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's realistically only been like
finger bang, no lube.
Couple hours.
Yeah.
To go from, man...
Robot fingers, too. Not like good, soft, little Asian gynecologist fingers.
Not at all. To go from that to really putting it on him and then actually, like, taking him.
Well, maybe the Force is like riding a bike. Maybe it's like...
Sure.
Oh, I remember how to do this.
That just...
After you fall off the bike and you bust your ass a few times and then you're like, it kicks in.
So maybe it was, what was written in the path for them that he finally had closed his eyes and was able to see through it.
Yeah.
And that acceptance of Anakin is dead is how we got there.
Right.
I just keep going back to the whole, like, production side of it, where whenever they're showing Anakin with half his mask on, you see mostly in the red lightsaber light, but there's Obi-Wan's blue lightsaber.
I saw that.
And it shows it maybe a couple
red
seconds.
The red was more on the mask side, and the blue was on his face.
So good, man.
Man.
How, like, I know...
Who thinks of that?
The struggle of bridging this gap in the first place and what this series does could imagine being a monumental task, because you have to do X, Y, Z, and it has to end this way.
Right.
How do I keep an audience on their toes? Because they already know it's supposed to happen. They're not, Reva was not going to kill Luke.
Right.
You knew that. Or Obi-Wan isn't going to kill Vader, or vice versa. But you do know that Vader's ripping apart the galaxy to find him, and he doesn't do that.
I think some of it too was in episode 3, Star Wars episode 3. Padme and Anakin have a discussion about how Anakin feels like Obi-Wan feels like he's beneath him.
Yeah.
He's better than him.
Correct. He's holding him back.
And his immaturity doesn't understand at the point that he was already stronger than Obi-Wan, and Kenobi knew that. But Kenobi had wit. So that every time that Kenobi outwitted him, it made him feel like a punk.
Yeah.
And that's what that constantly went through. And even in the very last battle where Kenobi took him, you see it, just the way that he sulked, just like he did as a boy, because he knew, I've been outsmarted again.
Yeah.
And he still knows that as strong as I am, that's all I am, is strong.
You're a powerhouse. You've maxed out your attack stat.
But because you're so driven by anger and hate, you can't think past all that to be able to wield what you're doing.
It blinds you.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it gives you all this strength, but you can't think clearly.
And I like to think it's real. I don't care. I don't care that it's in a fake universe.
Well, no, man.
I live around fake people all day.
It's in a it's just like all these posers online that's pissed off about Reva. It's like, dude,
I'm not that mad about it to get online and say anything. It's such a weird thing to do.
Let her be, man.
This chick is a poo head. And like, no, dude, I'm gonna say it on my podcast and let thousands of people hear it. I'm not mad at her. I'm just, like I said, there was just little points where I just felt like if I'd have been a director or whatever, I probably, just me personally, I'd have said, maybe do this. But like you said,
you don't think they saw that and thought that?
But there's a lot of yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't think, you just Favreau in that cast, would let things like that slide.
Most people just didn't like her character.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Which I think was good.
Don't attack her character. Attack her character.
Well, you don't, her character was meant to not be liked. And it worked.
She did a great job at that.
Yeah. It's not her as a person. I'm just saying.
And that's where a lot of people make the mistake of.
Yeah, they screw up with that.
They blur those lines.
I understand what you're saying.
Way too hard.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of younger cats.
Just because I don't like something you act in, like, I don't hate Christian Hayden because I thought he was a crap ass Anakin.
Yeah.
I just didn't like it.
Yeah. He played him well.
Yeah.
He played Anakin perfectly. That is what Anakin is.
I mean, and I didn't like Luke. I still don't like Luke. I don't like Mark Hamill.
You don't? Really?
No. You know when I liked Mark Hamill,
that's
believe
news
it or not?
to me.
I liked Mark Hamill in The Flash. When he was the villain in the series in The Flash. A lot of people didn't realize that was him.
Yeah.
I forget which villain he played. But he was awesome in that. But I just didn't like him as Luke.
His Joker's still my favorite.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Joker?
Hmm?
What you mean?
Dude, he's a voice actor for Joker.
Oh, really?
Oh, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
His acting for the Joker is amazing.
Wow.
This was the 90s animated series.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's good. You need to go watch that.
But even in the newer ones, like I didn't care for him, man.
I like Luke's character, and I like Mark Hamill, and just never really picked
I like
it apart
CGI
that
Luke,
hard.
and in The Mandalorian, I liked him in that. That's when he was really good. That was his best acting.
Good job, Bucky. I think there's the separation issue, especially with younger cats that feel like their voice need to be heard for whatever reason.
I think that's on every front, though. It's not just this. I mean, that's everything in life.
It's yelling into the void.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And you don't think that shit
And you don't think she's getting paid any less.
No.
She's still getting her money.
The fact that you are talking about this is perfect.
Yeah.
Even if it's not good.
Yeah.
Because publicity is publicity.
Everybody's going to go see what it is, and then they're going to want to go watch it, and the numbers are just going through the roof.
That's why I think it's hilarious, personally, whenever something like that happens and the internet is in a storm rage of how this happened, you realize you're talking about it, right?
Yeah.
You know, you're just fueling the fire. If you hate something, it's just giving it more power. So, yeah, the flashbacks with the saber duels I had a little bit of issue with too, just because of like it pulled me out of it that I saw Anakin looking older.
Yeah.
And again, that's one of those little small hiccups.
Well, that's the thing is him and Obi-Wan were very close. They were pretty close in age.
It's about 10 years.
Yeah, from the time, but it wasn't like a gap like him and Qui-Gon, because Qui-Gon was probably in his 30s at that time. Obi-Wan was probably 19, 20 years old, somewhere around there.
I think there was about a 10-year gap between each one of them. So like Qui-Gon was actually like a father figure to Anakin, which is what he needed, and Obi-Wan was like a bigger brother, and that's why that dynamic played out the way it did.
Yeah,
because he was his brother, you know, and he says it literally.
You're my brother, Anakin.
You're either with me or my enemy.
Man.
Yeah, good acting. So the best thing is, again, we keep going back to it. We will always say it. This is the most beautiful part about it. We get to see new Star Wars.
Check us out on dsrtalks.com.